the best of the Bill and Corey Show. Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. It's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Hey, welcome back to another episode. We're gonna have fun today, at least for the first question.
Oh, we have fun every time.
Are you acting as this? I don't know. This is extra fun.
Okay, I'll take extra fun.
So the first question is gonna be extra fun. The other questions, we'll see how it goes.
They'll be just fun.
They'll be just fun. And yes, we do have the YouTube chat set up. So if you have any questions about what we're doing, just go ahead and type them in there, or you can send us a question later. First question is that we had a customer that wanted a two-stage regulator. This is a two-stage regulator. And they wanted to have it so the inlet was on the right side and the outlet was on the left side. And the way that this has 6 ports in it, but the way it's ported is we couldn't flip it over and have it work properly. So that lies in the problem. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to show, Corey's going to do the first one. He's going to take a dual stage regulator and he's going to show the different ports. There's ports are labeled H for high, L for low, and I for interstage. Mm-hmm. So you can move these around and we'll show you. So you can put the high pressure stuff in the high pressure ports and the low pressure stuff in the low pressure ports.
So let me take that first. So this obviously is a this is a regulator. This is a regulator. They look entirely different though. This is what everybody's used to over here, which would be a regular regulator. Now, what we can do with this is we can set up all different kinds of things, sort of a regulator, if you will. Now, as you can see, we'll keep this one up here just so we can show the differences. Like normally you got the inlet, you got the outlet. But why does the inlet have to go right there? You could put it on.
Yeah, and guys, don't do this at home.
Well, people shouldn't have compressed cylinders at their house.
Yeah,
in the first place.
Don't do it at work either. It's probably better. You can easily have us configure your regulator,
Especially, I'm not even using Teflon tape with this. So this is all.
Right.
Yeah,
this is all. Yeah, we're not putting it. We're just.
So there's nothing stopping you from saying putting the inlet there, and then you could put the outlet right here. It looks a little odd. I don't know why you'd ever want to do this, but you could. Inlet here, and then it going back towards the cylinder for some reason, but that would be silly. But it is something you can do. You can also just go with an inlet and outlet, not even have gauges on it. I mean, the regulator works without gauges. No, that's okay. Regulators work without gauges, so this would be a working regulator. You'd have to plug up everything.
You probably need a nut on there.
Yeah, I mean, you would need the nut on there, but he doesn't want to stay on. So this right here is a working, functioning regulator, and it doesn't have any other little things on it. And also, I just want to add, just like the answer to the question for the customer was, he didn't mind turning it upside down. So that's something you could always do too. As you can see, the gauges, the gauges read upside down, but if you have no problem with doing that, no problem reading gauges like that. So that's always an option as well. Yeah. And then we also have gas watchers and things of that nature. This is something that I'm surprised, gas watchers and Pulsa, which is something I'm surprised people don't order more because it lets you know when your cylinder's empty. They are ordered on a lot of switchovers, but not on a lot of regular. So instead of a gauge, so you could have the gauge on the. Let's see. We're going to go to the low ports. I'm going to try to keep it the way it should be. So you can have a gauge on the low port.
Yeah. So that's your delivery pressure gauge.
That's your delivery pressure gauge, and on the high port, you can put a Pulsa, which is it's
a Bluetooth pressure transducer. Mm-hmm. This one is rated to 3,000 psi. So you can use that for your inlet.
And you can look at the pressure of your cylinder on your phone.
Yeah, and that gets routed through, there's a gateway, they call it, and it's a cell phone base. So if you have cell phone service, you can put the gateway in there, and then you can access the readings on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer. It's really kind of neat. The only downside, it's probably better on the supply side than the delivery pressure side, because it takes readings about every 90 seconds.
So
and that's to save the life of the battery.
yeah, I know. So yeah, it's to say, so you turn it and you'd wait, see what the pressure was.
I know. So it's kind of.
So yeah, you wouldn't want to use it on the delivery side. And our gas watcher, if you still want to know what the pressure is by looking at it, the gas watcher has a display as well, and you know the pressure, and also will transmit it via Bluetooth to your.
That goes to a router.
It goes
It's
to
a
a
router
router now.
base and Ethernet connection, and that gets you get readings every 30 seconds on this, and that's the keep the battery life lasting longer.
But yeah, anything your imagination can go with. Even if you wanted to, you could mix and match metals. We don't have any brass in here, do we?
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh, we do. If you want a colorful, if you want something colorful, you don't want the same thing, you can put some brass gauges on there and some mix it up a little bit.
Okay. I'm gonna play. You're done with your?
Yeah, if you, yeah.
So I'm gonna build you a regulator here. And
You want any of this stuff?
yeah, I'm gonna take the CJ fitting. Oh, I said this. Now, what's nice about this? This is a single stage regulator, so you don't have the interstage port. So you have 3 high and 3 low.
So that leads to a little bit more. And I didn't even mention, and I should have mentioned, for the interstage port, we have a safety, we have a relief valve that you can get with it as well. via our Dash S. These are pretty much what we're talking about, our Dash S regulators. I can't believe we haven't mentioned that yet. Go to our online store. It has some options in there, but if you talk to a salesman, you can do all kinds of things. So yeah. So
actually, we'll do the gauge here, and then we'll do. We got a VCR outlet fitting.
there you go.
So we'll put it there. And we have some customers that like the gauge oriented differently because that's the way they're looking at their system. So you could orient it that way. We got another low pressure port. You could stick a. I've got a vent valve in there. If you want to be able to vent it out, there's no valve here on this one.
And you know what would actually be cool with this one too? You could put a pulse on it so you could see it remotely, and you could see it.
Yeah, another high pressure port.
Another high pressure port.
So you can be fully loaded on this.
Yeah, you can get best of both worlds, a nice gauge. And
okay, and I'm going to have. Why do I have 2 different vent valves on here? But I did, so it's possible to do that.
It's possible. You have 2 different lines.
This is so this one's kind of odd looking, but you can do it this. No, the guy wants to have it this way.
Oh, he wants to have it that way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I didn't realize.
So
that.
you got your CJ fitting on the high pressure port, and you got this is a low pressure port for your delivery pressure of your pressure regulator. So when you adjust the pressure, you'll see it on there. Or if you're looking this way. Then we have a pulse on the high pressure side. Yeah, so you can monitor your cylinder pressure.
Yeah, it's actually.
And then we got just no one. I don't think anybody would do this.
If you want to vent your cylinder.
We have a high pressure vent. So if you want to vent the high pressure side, you got that. And then we have a low pressure vent. So most likely you'd have, this would be your outlet fitting, and then you would you'd plug this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could do something like that. Now, we've had people that that will reconfigure the regulators themselves, and they'll put the delivery pressure gauge, they might put it in the interstage port. And then it's like, I'm not reading any, I'm not, it's stuck at 350. Or we've had people put the delivery pressure gauge in the high pressure port in a line regulator. And then it's like you adjust the pressure and the gauge thing
doesn't work, yeah.
And you got low pressure, it's just...
Yeah, the very important thing is knowing what the ports are coming out, and they're all clearly labeled on it. So that's one major thing to know.
And if you want, and you can look at our... we have outline drawings on our online store, and they show the porting configurations.
Yes.
So if you have... if you want to look at that and be creative about, hey, I really want to have this, and this, we can make the regulator for you, and we do it as a Dash S regulator, modified regulator, and we could configure it to fit your needs.
Yeah, you can just put the porting HH, and you just say I want it on this port, this one, this, and this, and obviously if it's not going to work, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
But because like you always have to have the CGA in the high inlet.
And what's good about us doing is that we'll fully leak test this thing and make sure it works. And not and make, yeah, so when you read it, the gauge actually will move when you change the delivery pressure.
Let the gas professionals
Yes.
make your regulators.
Yes, yeah, and you can all sorts of issues if you try to do it yourself. Oh, the other thing to kind of bring up on this is regulators have bonnet vent ports, and this is to protect the bonnet from overpressurization. Yes. So that is not a gauge port. That's not a, you don't plug that.
Yeah, this one's, it usually comes covered.
Yeah, we have, typically they'll come covered.
Yeah, and don't ever block that hole. If anything, the one thing you would do with it is pipe it away if it's a corrosive or flammable that you don't want to be building up inside. So yeah, so let your imaginations run wild.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Here's our fire truck question.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I never thought we'd have a fire truck question for specialty gas equipment.
Yeah.
It says, we're running into an issue with our nitrogen tank on a fire truck located at Station 65. I wouldn't be too specific on the fire truck number. Currently, we have the guys check the nitrogen tank pressure quarterly, as it needs to be a minimum of 1,750 psi to run the extinguishing system. When the check is done, the piping and hose of the extinguishing system on the truck is filled, causing the tank pressure to drop each time. We'll show you a graphic in a little bit, but this quickly leads to the tank dropping below the 1,750 psi minimum.
Bill, I think I can help. Hold on, I think I can help out on this. I once thought about joining the volunteer fire department, so I think I'm like half a firefighter. And luckily, I have the gear from home. And even a model of a fire truck so that we can look at it.
Yeah.
So here's our model. So I feel like I'm a little bit of an expert on this because I almost joined the fire department.
Okay. So where is the cylinder located on the truck?
I think it's in the back here. I feel like that's where it's at.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
Based on the picture, let's show the graphic.
Let's just pop up the graphic.
The graphics from the back, I think.
Tell me, is it the back? Is it the right side?
I think it's the back. It's coming right.
I don't think it's the front. Because the picture's up. That's good. It says, I've attached a picture of the current setup. What options are out there so that the tank can be open to check pressure level while charging the rest of the system? Some type of regulator or second valve setup? What are your thoughts?
I have thoughts. Do you have thoughts?
I have thoughts too about this. So, well, keep the graphic up there.
Well, the graphic shows that all they're doing is opening up the tank to see the pressure, because if it's not open and leaking, and feeding, they can't see the pressure. So you want something that will let them see the pressure without having to open the tank. Correct?
Oh yeah, but you still have to open the tank. You have to open the tank for the picture. You can't have a gauge in the tank. So. What you can do in this case. Well, wait a minute.
No, show that off.
We got the graphic up there.
All right.
Still looking at the graphic.
All right.
What you could do is you could put a valve on the branch of the T to isolate it from the accumulator, so you can check your pressure, and then then it'll just fill that little space and bleed it down. What's important though when you're picking a valve out is you need to know that it's, you got to make sure it's pressure rated. And in this case, it's a CGA 580 on the tank. So you need to have whatever valve you have.
Because it's nitrogen, right?
Nitrogen, yeah. So it's rated to 3,000 PSI. So you just can't go to the hardware store and pick out a valve.
Oh, no. Yeah, Ace Hardware does not have that. I've been there many times.
Yeah, you don't want to get a valve from there. You got to make sure it's pressure rated for it. And in this case, it's inert gas. So it's not to worry about it. Yeah, you just have to make sure it's compatible with your system. So you can take the graphic down, and then we'll show one of our solutions. So you can put a valve on the outlet, any type of diaphragm valve, and flow rate's important. Or we've got, this is a standard product, is our 52A series valve. It's a pack stem needle valve. It's for flow control. And we'll have this is a CGA 580 right there, so you can attach it to your cylinder. And we can reconfigure it to anything you want. So we've got a gauge on there. We have it set up so when it's on the cylinder, it's for regular standing up cylinders, you can see the pressure on it. Now this valve has a C sub V of 0.35, I think. Yep. And then, so that's going to give you a really decent flow rate on there, because you don't want to have a valve that's going to choke your flow to whatever your system is, because that'd be another problem. This is nickel-plated body, and it's got nickel-plated brass, and the valve has stainless steel stem on it. So it's great. It's intended to help control the flow out of your cylinder. It's not going to regulate the pressure, but they could do something like this. You know, have the valve closed
and still see what the pressure is in the cylinder.
Then you can see the pressure. You can turn the gauge. Well, you know, we
Within
configure
reason.
it that
We
way.
configure it a certain way, yes.
I'm just loosening the pipe thread, turning the gauge. That's a bad idea.
And then it'll leak.
totally leak.
Why are we losing pressure on our...
Yes. So we would obviously tighten this in and leak check it before we send it to you.
Wow.
So that's our.
As an almost firefighter, I approve.
Okay. Anything else to add about the whole fire truck thing?
No.
Okay,
Just
great.
this good model.
That's pretty nice.
That's we use that to make sure.
Better bring it home. The kids will get up.
Oh yes. Well, don't ask me why I have the fireman costume.
Okay.